Does Shawn Mendes have tattoos? He has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 5 tattoos. This is my first tattoo. It's a guitar reflected on water with a sound wave and a landscape of my city, Toronto. I say my city, it's actually Drake City.
I'm just not that plugged into popular music anymore. Even music that's ridiculously popular. There are artists I don't know at all that are apparently the equivalent to telling someone in 1967 that they'd never heard of the Rolling Stones. This was made abundantly clear to me as I did the research for this week's album because, and please don't judge me for this, I'd never heard of Shawn Mendes before this week. And if you go to the Wikipedia page for the best-selling singles of all time, the song I rolled last week, Señorita, made the list of the all-time best-selling digital singles. 16.1 million copies sold. So let me tell you what else I learned that you probably already knew. Here are the 5 things for Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes was born in 1998 in the eastern Toronto suburb of Pickering. And while attending Pine Ridge Secondary School, Shawn taught himself to play guitar from YouTube. And within a year, he was uploading his own cover versions.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
After a couple years of posting regularly to YouTube, Vine came along and young Shawn started posting up 6-second clips of his covers. The Vine of him performing Justin Bieber's As Long As You Love Me went viral. 10,000 views overnight, millions of views within a month, and by 2014, he was the 3rd most popular music creator on Vine. That viral popularity, plus the fact that he won Ryan Seacrest's Best Cover Song contest, caught the attention of Island Records. In 2014, at the age of only 15, Shawn Mendes released his first single on Island, Life of the Party.
Baby, be the life of the party.
It made it to number 24 on the Hot 100, making Shawn Mendes the youngest artist to have their debut single reach the top 25. By the end of 2014, Shawn had toured opening for Austin Mahone, another name I guess I should probably know, but I don't. Released an EP that debuted at number 5 on Billboard's album charts, won a Teen Choice Award, appeared on the single Oh Cecilia, parentheses Breaking My Heart by the Vamps. Yes, it was a cover of the Simon and Garfunkel song. And started work on his first full-length album, Handwritten, which was released in April of the next year. Handwritten debuted at number 1 on Billboard's album charts, making Shawn the youngest person to debut at number 1 since, well, Justin Bieber. And that same year, 2015, he opened for Taylor Swift's 1989 tour, and he wrote and recorded music for a Disney Channel original movie, The Descendants. And this is where Camila enters the story. Camila Cabello is a Cuban-born singer and songwriter. At the time, Camila was part of a girl group called Fifth Harmony, a group assembled by Simon Cowell on X Factor.
I hate you.
After the release of Handwritten, Shawn and Camila teamed up on a single called I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I know what you did last summer.
Which was eventually included in the reissue of Handwritten called Handwritten Revisited. Starting then, the two of them had a period of public, some say staged, flirtation, leading up to the release of Señorita on June 21st, 2019. Hey, that's my birthday! Shortly after that, Shawn and Camila began dating in earnest.
I'm a prince of the plunger, fair mate.
But split about 2 years later. The next album after his self-titled release was called Wonder, and the hype for that was substantial, both for the album and for the pending world tour. Wonder included a duet with Justin Bieber and a Netflix documentary.
You first get on the stage and ego comes rushing in.
And the following year, the Wonder World Tour was announced, but only 7 shows in, Mendes started postponing and finally canceling all remaining shows, citing mental health concerns. What followed was a self-imposed hiatus. In the downtime, he released a couple singles. There were some sporadic collaborations, but no further full album releases or live performances until 2024 and the release of his album, Shawn. Shawn was seen as a pivot towards more quiet, introspective music with heavier folk influence. I mean, you know a singer-songwriter gets serious about being seen as a for-real singer-songwriter when they cover Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen.
But you don't really care for music. to you.
The lead-up tour for the release of Shawn was smaller and more intimate venues and was well received, resulting in the concert film Shawn Mendes, for friends and family only.
And effortless and fun and free.
Oh, and if a meteoric rise from social media to sold-out world tours in mere months wasn't enough for you, yeah, he's also a model. And that's the 5 things for Shawn Mendes. So I am off to listen to his album. I'll be back soon with first impressions.
Love isn't something I think you should chase because then it isn't real. So you have to just kind of let it happen.
The lesson I learned after listening to Shawn Mendes for the first time is that in 2019, if an acoustic guitar is audible on your album full of pop songs, then that counts as folk for some reason. Y'all, this is just a pop album. It's heavy on the ballads and the breathy vocals and the sensitive themes, but yeah, it's a pop album. Beyond that, it's a harmonically simple pop album. What I call a white keys album. Meaning the chords, melodies, harmonies, and bass line all very seldom stray from the 7 notes in the stated key signature. If ever. Actually, it goes farther than that. It's rare for this album to include a 5 chord to create tension and set up a resolution. So in the key of C, he'll rarely hit the G chord. Most of the time, what passes for harmonic tension is a melody line that lands on the 9. And before I get into the songs, please note that I am listening to the deluxe version of the album, because that's the one with Senorita on it. And speaking of, the changes in Senorita are pretty much identical to the changes to Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, only down a minor third. And replace the 4 on the 4 groove of Crazy with something kind of approaching a samba. Very slightly samba, if you will. Memories of samba.
Every touch is ooh la la la, it's true la la la.
Mostly, though, it's just a pop duet with Camila Cabello, with harmonies sung in octaves. The next tune is Lost in Japan. And there's something about the lyrics on this one that engaged my mildly neurodivergent hyperfocus superpowers. The song goes like this. You got plans tonight? I'm a couple 100 miles from Japan and I was thinking I could fly to your hotel tonight. And my very first thought was, Japan's an archipelago. Where the hell can you be that's a couple 100 miles from Japan? So I jumped onto a mapping site and checked. And as near as I can tell, there's only 4 places on planet Earth he could have been. First, there's Taiwan, which technically is only close to the remote southern islands of Japan out past Okinawa. He could have also been either on the east coast of Russia or the tip of the Kamchatka Peninsula, both of which are sparsely populated and only close to the North Island of Hokkaido. He also could have been on the coast of South Korea. So that means the only thing that even makes the smallest amount of sense is he's in Busan and she's in Fukuoka. That's at least possible. Or he's on his own like plane or yacht or something, but wait, that would mean he got like 9/10 of the way across the Pacific before calling. As you can see, folks, this song had pretty much a 0 chance of making a favorable impression after hitting me with a geography problem I couldn't solve. Piano intro was nice though. Other highlights on the album. In My Blood.
Just have a drink and you'll feel better.
For a song with only 3 chords, just F, B flat, and D minor, which he plays like that, so there's no 5 chord here either. It does a decent enough job creating tension just from dynamics. The build up in each verse and the release after each chorus, it works. The chorus on Fallin' All In You has a bit of R&B slow jam in it.
Ooh, you know I've been alone for quite a while.
It's okay. Thoroughly unobjectionable. Where Were You in the Morning is, I think, the song that sounds the most like what I think about the entire album. It's like the platonic version of this album.
But then I woke up to the cold air.
Pentatonic melody over chords that barely change. A minor, B minor, C. That's it. With all the appeal for the song coming from the lyric content and some of the sound choices. 7 songs in, and we get our first non-white key moment for the song Nervous.
And my adrenaline kicked in.
The song actually starts with a dominant figure in the key of G, and the verses are G7 and F add 9. What's funny? Well, sure, in the key of G, F is the dominant 7, but G Mixolydian is the fifth mode of the C major scale, which means only the white keys. Good Lord. Like to Be You is another duet, this time with Julia Michaels. But the most interesting thing to me is there's an expressive, minimalist little 4-bar solo from John Mayer in this one. Particular Taste uses that weird little stutter step rhythm used in a lot of trap for its verses.
Only dances when it's Kanye.
Not a trend I ever found myself getting into, but apparently people like it. Why is probably my favorite song on the album, solely on the strength of its 4-chord loop.
I know a girl, she's like a curse.
E flat, major 7, F minor, C minor, and A flat minor 6. Plus, Shawn Mendes himself plays a little solo near the end. Youth is a duet with Khalid. It's a pop song with some nylon string guitar playing simple arpeggios.
You can't take my youth away.
It doesn't take too long for the refrain of "You can't take my youth away" to get pretty old. Ironically. Perfectly Wrong is a ballad, simple and slow. I've heard things like this dozens of times.
Singing me my favorite song.
Still kind of pretty. Now the song Queen is a bit of fun, if for no other reason than because of the attitude.
Queen of you, think you're too cool, making beautiful look ugly.
Harmonically, it uses a flat 7 chord in the changes, but unlike Nervous, it's in the key of A flat, so definitely not all the white keys this time. Bet he used a capo. And the last song is When You're Ready, and this is the only song on the album that I'd say was actually close to being in a folk tradition, kinda. I mean, the lyrics are pure sugar, complete pop tropes with some Torch song longing added in, but the acoustic guitar is at least in the right place, sonically, and it's performed well too.
Yeah, I had too many drinks, but that's just what I needed. I hope that you don't think that what I'm saying sounds conceited.
Overall, it all seems lovely but insubstantial. Perhaps more will be revealed as I learn the songs and especially the lyrics better. It seems to be that's where this album is headed. Anyway, those are my first impressions. Back soon with final thoughts.
I have this Kevin Murphy hair paste that I use. This stuff is basically what I've been using since I had hair, basically.
I still don't have a good model for how to evaluate pop music objectively. What I mean is the one and only criteria for determining if something counts as pop is, do enough people like it that it makes financial sense to play it on commercial media? That's it. There aren't any stylistic rules about what counts as pop. If Duck Stab by The Residents sold 2 million copies, it would be pop, by definition.
Here I come, Constantinople.
So since there's no criteria for this music other than commercial ones, the only real way to judge success in pop music, it seems to me, is commercially. And by those standards, Shawn Mendes by Shawn Mendes is a rousing success. But, you know, there's a story behind that success. 16.1 million people heard Senorita and liked it enough to climb onto iTunes or whatever and purchase a copy. They heard something in it that spoke to them. I sense a but coming up, but I kind of don't. There's not enough music in the music parts of Shawn Mendes to hold my attention. And I don't know that lyrics like "Every touch is ooh la la la, it's true la la la" have ever been for me, keeping in mind that I can recite the lyrics to all 80 minutes of Trout Mask Replica from memory. But having said all that, I don't hate this music. Compared to many other things I've heard in the pop music sphere over the past few years, Shawn Mendes is, at the very least, above average in terms of musicality. There's an effort being made for the arrangements and the textures to be engaging. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the week I spent with Red by Taylor Swift. I recognized pretty much immediately that this music wasn't for me, but I still came away acknowledging that her appeal is more than just marketing and commerce. As a guitarist, Shawn Mendes shows competence on the album, but not a whole lot more than that. As a singer, he has a definite style that is designed to engage. As a songwriter, he's skilled enough at his particular niche. I heard no clunkers or poorly crafted phrases, but it still lacks much in the way of sophistication or risk-taking. The producers he's chosen to work with have really shaped his sound into something, let's be real, marketable but still specific enough to Shawn Mendes on which to build a career. So that just leaves my 5-word overview of Shawn Mendes. Better him than Jake Paul. Now let's see what I'll be listening to next. And what year shall it be? 1998, getting towards the end of the 20th century. I'm not really well versed on this time period, but let's check out month and week. Didn't I say I was getting different dice? Dang it. All right, so what do we have here? The 4th week of February for 1998. And chart position, 1 to 100. Number 96. And on the Billboard Hot 100, 4th week of February, 1998, the number 96 position is Tub Thumping. You're seeing this too, right? I mean, I know the song Tub Thumping, and I'm pretty darn sure that the band responsible for Tub Thumping was not Chucklebutt. Assuming that this is some sort of weird typo, the song Tub Thumping appears on the album Tub Thumper by Chumbawamba. So regardless of what this says, that's what I'm listening to next. Chucklebutt. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. I'll see you next week.